Man, I really did miss this. Yeah, it's time to take this thing out and blow off some of this dust. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but somebody is actually blaring classical music from somewhere over there. Hey, to each his own. Man, I really did miss this. That's been a few weeks since I actually got to take the bike out. With the cold weather moving in, makes it difficult. Plus the holidays, just trying to find time. But man, I've been getting the itch to take this thing out and ride it. You know, I still watch YouTube all the time, so I'm watching all the other bigger channels on these road trips and stuff. And it's like, man, I don't need to do that. I just want to take the bike out for a spin, and just seeing it sitting there in the garage, knowing I'm making that payment on the bike and it's not being ridden, I'm like, man, I just need to suck it up and take it out. So I am. It's not warm, but it's not cold. I think it's like upper 40s right now. So I definitely forgot what it's like having to put all the, I guess, warm gear on. Definitely a lot more restrictive. Like I have a really thick neck gaiter on. Yeah, so it makes it a little bit harder to move my head around, but yeah, no heated gear yet still. Just rocking, I got a t-shirt on, then a quarter zip fleece, and then the jacket, but I have a windbreaker on in the jacket that really helps with that cold wind. And then I just got jeans on, and then like a pair of Under Armour pants on underneath there. And really the only thing that I can feel the wind on is my hands, just because I have the perforated gloves on, and my legs. Other than that, like my top half is just fine. Yeah, I decided to take it out, and this thing was getting pretty dusty sitting there in the garage, so figured about time to blow some of that dust off. Take her out. Like I said in the last video, where I go over kind of how I not really store it, but kind of park it if I'm not going to be riding for a while. And like I said in that video, we do get some nicer days in the winter here and there, so not much to actually getting this thing ready to ride other than unplugging it from the charger, airing up the tires. I finally remembered to change the suspension on the bike because I did have my wife on it not that long ago and kept forgetting to change the suspension back to just what it is for the single rider preload. So finally got that done, and the bike started up right away. Sounded good, no issues so far, knock on wood. I finally got my blue mirror tint visor in, and I definitely want to put that on to see how that looks, but might wait just because, you know, it does get darker earlier here now. So if I don't get out till later in the day when I want to ride, I'll probably just keep this clear one on through the winter, but once spring turns around, I might throw that thing on, see how that thing does, especially in the hot weather, keeping the sun and stuff off my face. Sometimes you just forget how fun it is to take this bike out. Oh man. I don't know what it is about this time of year, or if it's just the time in my YouTube journey that you have ups and downs. You got times when you just want to record all the stuff and have all these ideas for videos and everything, and then after a while you kind of hit a slump to where it's like, I don't know what to talk about or make videos on, and you just really don't feel like recording anything. Like, I got 3 separate YouTube channels. I got this one, I got a gun channel where we still do our weekly podcast, but then I have another one where I go over kind of the production gear, and it's just, especially with those two, I can make videos inside in the studio pretty easy. But man, I just have not been motivated to make anything. Everything's pretty much set up. I just really got to turn the camera on and make whatever I got to make. But I don't know, I think with winter and the shorter days and stuff like that, holidays, you're busy, and it's just like, man, I just don't feel like doing that in my free time. But I need to get out of that funk. Hopefully with the holidays, once they end and really there's nothing to do, it'll be easier to make content and hopefully be motivated for that kind of stuff. I know this time of year around Christmas is the best time to make content, especially if you're reviewing products, because you can get some, sales to go along with that, especially through Amazon and things. But it's like, man, I just don't feel like doing it. Like, I love doing microphone reviews, but I just haven't been feeling it lately. But I'm like, you know what? I just got to get on the bike. I was going to take it out and just not record, but I'm like, why not? It's been a few weeks since I've done a video on this channel anyway, so just need to do it. And once you do it, you're like, all right, it wasn't that bad. But it's just the getting the motivation to pull out the cameras and talk to the camera and stuff like that, talk to you guys. I actually don't have any destination in mind. I'm just going to kind of ride around until my legs go numb from the wind. I definitely I always forget, it is very easy to go over the speed limit in this thing, and so I gotta make sure I don't go too far over that speed limit. So it's funny, on YouTube, I watch some of the bigger YouTube channels you guys probably know as well. One of them is Adam Sandoval. He's a big Harley guy, does all these big long road trips and stuff like that. If you guys haven't heard of him, check out his channel, it's pretty cool. But a recent video that he put out, I think like yesterday or the day before, that I recently watched, is a response video to Yammie Noob, who's a big sports bike guy channel, and basically responding to an older video of Yammie Noob's on how he thought, like, he doesn't get the motorcycle culture, he doesn't get Harleys and why people like them. And Adam Sandoval just did like a reaction video, kind of reacting to the things he says in that video, and it's like, yeah, I remember watching some of those videos of Yammie Noob when I was looking into getting the Sportster, because he does have some videos on the Iron 883 and some other ones that they did. And I remember him saying that he's not a Harley guy, but the Sportster that they turned into a 1275 that he actually liked. But for the most part, he's not a Harley guy. He doesn't get the whole Harley scene and culture and all that stuff. So I kind of stopped watching his channel. But then when I was kind of looking at the Yamaha MTs and some other sport bikes like that, he's got a ton of videos on those, so I was re-watching them. But then, recommend some other videos by that guy, and just some of the stuff that he says about bashing, I don't know if I'd say bashing, but kind of really separating the bike cultures. Like, he's clearly you got a Harley culture, and then you got the sport bike culture, and it's like, no, it's honestly, you need to be promoting just motorcycling in general. It doesn't matter what you ride, as long as you ride something with 2 wheels and an engine, you're part of the culture. It doesn't matter what bike you're on. Everybody has their own style, their own needs, their own point in life as far as what bike they're on. And that's kind of the point that Adam Sandoval was trying to respond to. I don't know if he just randomly found that video, because it is an older video by Yammie Noob, so maybe it was like something he just came across and decided to react to it. But I definitely did not agree with what Yammie Noob had to say. Was he joking and just made a video to, get views and stuff like that? Probably. But there's a lot of things that he said that it's like, man, for a 1 million+ subscriber channel, you probably need to be promoting the motorcycle culture as a whole, instead of separating Harley riders from everybody else. But it's funny, because he started the video off saying, like, the Harley people are just weird. Like, all right, I mean, yeah, you have, you know, the diehard Harley guys and stuff like that will ride nothing but Harley. They kind of have that kind of hard, tough guy facade that they put on and stuff like that. But then, you know, that's some of them. Other people are, you know, like me. I just like the Harley. And, you know, he's saying that with Harleys, you don't get the bang for your buck, and just saying they're not worth the money and all this stuff. And it's like, that's highly subjective. You know, yes, I get Harley Davidsons are expensive, but they're not sport bikes. Like, he's a sport bike guy, he's a sport bike channel. Like, you don't buy a Harley because you want to go fast and do a bunch of stunts. You buy a Harley mostly because you want to cruise. Yeah, Harley has adventure bikes and, you know, some other stuff, but for the most part, Harleys are cruisers, and that's the people that they go after as a company and market to. You know, their biggest seller is probably the Road Glide, and that bike is not meant to speed around town and do all these things, and it's meant to cruise long distance comfortably. And he was saying how that they don't keep up with technology and stuff like that. I'm like, have you not seen the 2024 Road Glides? They definitely changed a lot of stuff on that. They went to like a whole electronic screen and basically a lot of computer stuff, so probably doesn't have a lot of technology like maybe some of the other Japanese type bikes out there. But for Harley Davidson, they've really come a long way embracing technology. They do get a lot of pushback from the guys that like the old school bikes without all that crap, but then they also realize that there's a market for it, so they put out bikes like that. So you got to look at it from, you know, the type of person that's buying a Harley. And, you know, he was saying that Harley's not true to their riders and stuff like that. I highly disagree with that. They definitely listen to their riders, the people that ride their bikes, and that's how this bike came along. You know, people were wanting kind of a sport touring setup bike, and that's exactly what they did with this bike. And this has been a really popular bike for Harley, so they've definitely been innovating, unlike what he said. It's just, you got to understand who they're marketing towards, and I don't think he got that. Granted, that wasn't, since that was an older video, obviously the 2024 Road Glides weren't out back then, but still, even like the, you know, 2022, 23s did have more technology on them. And it also depends on like your point of life, like where you're at in your life, especially like your motorcycling, you know, point where you're at. You know, a lot of people his age, because he does seem like a younger guy, yeah, a lot of young people want the sport bike. They want to go fast, they want that adrenaline rush and all that. That's cool. But then over time, you change, like your outlook in life changes. You know, once you get to your 30s, have a family, maybe 40s, 50s, whatever, you're kind of over that. You just want to not risk your life as much and literally just cruise around comfortably. And that's what Harleys are basically for. Now, you do see most of the time people that have a Harley are older, and it's usually for a reason. You know, if they have been into motorcycles for a long time, they're at that point in their life to where they don't need that big adrenaline rush to go fast, risk their life every time they're on the bike. Yeah, you're risking your life when you're on any motorcycle, but you know what I mean as far as the type of riding and what a sports bike is for, to where they're like, all right, I'm ready to just kind of cruise around. Yes, Harleys are heavy and stuff like that, but for long distance riding, majority of them are comfortable for that. I would definitely rather take even this bike on a long distance trip than a freaking sport bike. You're going to be way more comfortable. Could you get there faster in a sport bike? Sure, but you're going to be not comfortable. You're going to be hurting. Your lower back is probably going to kill you. No wind deflection usually on a lot of those, so it's going to be a lot more uncomfortable on those type of bikes. So it just, you know, I get he's coming from a younger age and, you know, all about the sports bike, but he's got to realize that, you know, there's a point in people's life to where they want a cruiser, and Harley makes great cruisers. Yes, they're expensive, but realistically, you do, you know, pay a premium for the brand and stuff like that, but you are getting a great bike. Yes, like every other company, they have their issues, they have recalls, stuff like that, but name me a current car or truck or SUV that hasn't had a recall. Like, my wife just bought a brand new Kia. Those things are great, there's already a recall on it. So I know we're at probably what, 2 recalls on this bike so far, but not a big deal. As long as the company acknowledges it and fixes it, that's fine. It's kind of just part of the vehicle culture now, is like there's going to be recalls. It doesn't mean the company is going to crap or anything like that. Is things happen, you figure it out, and then you fix it. So I'm interested to see if Yammie Noob even does a reaction video to Adam Sandoval's video that he did. I would be surprised if he did, just because, you know, it was an older video that he made. But who knows, maybe to get the views, it's something that he'll put together. Like, Adam Sandoval has like probably 250 or so thousand subscribers, so definitely not a small channel. All right, time to use this thing. Does not take much to pass on this thing at all. I just think a lot of people get the Harley culture wrong. Like, you have the typical stereotype where, you know, they're biker gang type of guys, or they're just old grumpy assholes, things like that. Yeah, there are people like that. Unfortunately, there's bad apples in anything, but the majority of people that I've met going to just local, you know, rides and get-togethers at the dealership, stuff like that, man, everybody's been super cool, super, like, nobody's been an asshole to me. It seems like most of the people, even if they are mostly Harley riders, they don't care what you have. If you got a bike that you're riding and you love it, they'll accept you and talk shop with you and everything like that. Like, there are people that show up at the Harley dealership for bike nights on bikes that aren't Harleys. And it's not like, oh my god, what's that guy doing here? No, it's like, hey, you're on 2 wheels, cool. Like, join the club. You know, that was one thing I was a little worried about when I got a Harley. I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to fit in, but, you know, I haven't felt like I haven't, that's for sure. Man, there is a lot of horse shit on the road, and it smells. Whew. Yep, you definitely get all the feels and smells when you're on the road, even if it is horse or cow shit. Man, that stinks. I don't know if there was like a semi or a truck that just lost a bunch of manure back there or what. But anyway, I definitely don't think the Harley, you know, culture is weird in any way. You know, like I said, there's different types of people. You got your hardcore Harley riders that are strictly Harley, and, you know, they're the older guys that wear nothing but Harley stuff and got the beards, and they may seem like they're unapproachable. But man, if you just kind of talk to those guys, they're cool as hell. They know a lot about motorcycles because they've been riding forever. They'll definitely give you tips and tricks, and, you know, they love talking bikes. So yeah, it may be intimidating at first, but it's definitely not once you actually talk to the people. Said there's bad apples. Yeah, there's, you know, gangs like the Hells Angels, shit like that, but it is what it is. The vast majority of any motorcyclist I've met doesn't care what you're on. Like, I got a buddy that has been on a couple videos that was definitely anti-Harley for a long time, just because, you know, his dad had one as a kid and was always breaking down and stuff like that. He was always working on it. But he bought that Lowrider S, and man, he loves that thing. Well, crap, I wish I would have known that this turned into a dead end. This sucks. I guess we're gonna have to make a U-turn on a gravel. That's awesome. Alright, so we gotta find a different route. I know I definitely get a lot of comments on this channel that, you know, people like, oh, you're stupid for buying a Harley, or if you bought a Harley as your first bike, you didn't do your research. It's like, who cares? I bought the bike I wanted. I did do a lot of research, obviously, and it ended up that I wanted that bike. So, you know, just because you don't agree that I bought a Harley as my first bike, or this bike, you know, doesn't mean you have to bash it. Just be like, hey man, good for you, not my, you know, not the bike for me, but welcome to the community and riding on 2 wheels. It's just funny. It's like, how many people watch my videos on the, like, Iron 883 ones are pretty popular, and just like my first impression videos on this one, how many people like bash it and just like bash Harley Davidson as a company? It's like, why are you even watching that video? Like, if you're just gonna, you know, say that they're terrible bikes and a waste of money, overpriced and stuff like that, why are you even watching a Harley Davidson video? Like, go watch something else. It's just, it's funny. Like, I don't get it. All right, well, before my GoPro battery dies, I'm going to sign off here pretty soon. I definitely need this. You know, if you guys are in kind of the winter rut and just can't get motivated to do anything, and you own a motorcycle, man, try and take that thing out, because I was definitely in a rut, like creating content on any of my channels and just kind of doing anything in general, you know, like I haven't felt like doing any house projects. I'm big on, like, I have to keep busy, I got to do something, but I just haven't had the motivation to do anything. So now that I've gotten to get some wind therapy, yeah, I definitely think I'm gonna have the motivation to start doing stuff again. And I don't know, it just, being cooped up in the wintertime really sucks, and that's when you can easily become lazy and, you know, get stuck in that rut. So the fact that I was able to take the bike out, I definitely highly recommend that if you're in that same situation. Even if it is colder, just bundle up, even if it's for a short ride, like just to get that wind therapy. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know, it just, I don't know, it just helps you kind of clear your head and just get out on the open road and feel the wind and not feel closed in and like you're stuck. So, oh shit, all right. So my bike just died. What the hell? That was random. I didn't kill it. Huh. I have gas. What the hell happened there? All right, so as I'm editing the video here and I kind of slowed down and zoomed in on what happened there, it's pretty stupid. I did kill the bike. I didn't realize it. So when I went to go actually grab the handlebar again, when I was bringing my hand back up, my index finger actually landed on the kill switch and killed it. If I zoom in, like if I blow it up, I can actually see that happen. So yeah, my finger, when I was moving it back to the handlebars, hit that kill switch and killed the bike there. So nothing wrong with the bike. I definitely did not stall it or anything. It was just I accidentally hit the kill switch. Luckily, I was in an area where I could easily pull over right there. But yeah, so that happened. So if I would have killed it with the clutch, or you definitely would have felt that and noticed it. I didn't have that. Maybe that was just a fluke. We'll see. It was just trying to keep me on my toes. So yeah, with that, like I said, if you can, take your bike out, get that wind therapy. Hopefully it'll help you get motivated through the winter. So if you guys like this content, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It's totally free for you, helps out the channel. And in the meantime, if you're snowed in and can't do anything, go ahead and check out these other videos that I have on this channel. Catch you next time.
A few moments later.
Jesus. Scared the crap out of me.